Welcome back to my channel. Before we begin, of course, I just want to apologize. I know it's been a couple weeks since I've uploaded. Work just kind of got very busy for me the last couple weeks, but she's back. She's organized now. We're working on a filming and editing schedule, but once I have that all figured out, I will be uploading a lot more consistently for you guys. But yeah, before we begin, as always, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and just stay tuned. So a few weeks ago, I did post a video that was just talking on the cost of home ownership, how much money you guys want to realistically have already up front, how much money it's going to go into that process. So this is just going to be an extension of that video for those of you who are actually serious about home ownership and you want to start saving up for a house, and you just don't know where to begin. So this is just going to be a few tips I kind of came up with, nothing new, but just my take on ways that you can start saving for a house. All right, so step one is you want to set your goal. And so that's going to be figuring out what price point of a home you're actually looking for and what price point of a home can you realistically afford. And with that, there's generally 3 levels that I've seen just based off your interest level. I would say if you're super there, like you just want to start putting a plan together, I would always recommend first and foremost speak to your local mortgage expert. So that is your loan officer. You can talk to your mortgage broker if you know one, or even your bank. They can give you just a general idea. You don't have to go through the whole process of filling out an application and all that, but if you know someone or just having a conversation, make that connection with someone, you can explain your situation, kind of give them an idea of your income, and they should be able to give you a general idea. Again, it won't be as specific, but a general idea of where you can start looking as far as what you can afford for a house. And then the second person that or group of people that you can talk to are your local realtors. So we do have a general idea, again, not as specific as what a mortgage broker would know, but there are a couple questions we can ask you just to kind of help you figure out where you should start looking, what you can kind of start working on to get you where you need to be. I know for me, I have a lot of people who message me online, like via Instagram, Facebook, just asking questions like this. So don't feel free to reach out. Don't be scared to reach out or shy. If you have questions, if you know a local realtor, if you see someone online, you can pop in and just ask, like, hey, I'm entertaining the thought of this. I just have a few questions. A good realtor would have no issues with helping you out. But of course, if you're not quite at that step where you actually want to speak to someone, there are a lot of online tools that you can use as well. There's online mortgage calculators that you can kind of play around with, plug in certain numbers, and you can kind of figure it out for yourself. So you have resources available, you just kind of know where to look for them. All right, so step 2 is figuring out the costs associated with home ownership. So the first part is you want to know how much of a down payment you actually want to put down on a house. A good rule of thumb is always, I would say, 3 to 20%. I do have a video on this that addresses the different types of mortgage loans available and the type of down payment you're going to be required to put down. I won't go into specifics on this video, but I will figure out how to link it somewhere so you guys can check out that video and see exactly how much would you want to start putting down based off the loan that you're getting. And then the second thing is also figuring out what other costs are associated with home ownership, and I have a video on that too. So a lot of people don't know, when you buy a house and you go under contract, you do have like your inspections, appraisals. Sometimes you have to pay closing costs. So figure out exactly how much money you need to start saving for, and then set a timeline for that. So is your goal going to be to buy a house within the next 3 months, 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, whichever your plan is? Know what numbers you're working with, and then set your timeline for that. All right, so step number 3 is something you guys probably have never heard of before. I'm such an innovator, so I'm making this up for the first time. It's groundbreaking information that you've probably never even, you couldn't even Google it, and that is to set a budget. Totally get it, guys. I hope you know that was genuine sarcasm, but setting a budget, I cannot emphasize this enough. You see it everywhere, you read it everywhere. It's like that term, what's the thing when you just keep repeating something over and over and over? I don't know, there's a saying about it, but it's like it's repeated so much because it's actually that important. You can't, not even just for buying a house, but in general for life, you need to be living and working off a budget. So a good starting point for this is kind of figuring out how much money do you make, how much do you take home every month, and what amount of that is going towards any types of expenses. And what this will do is actually just help you figure out what is your debt to income ratio. All right, when it comes to debt to income ratio, you really want to keep that percentage as far as like what you're spending versus what your income is. To be comfortable, I would say less than 40 to 60%. That's a good cushion to give you a little bit of extra money saved over. So if you're one of those people that's living off like more than 60% of what they're taking home, I know there's people that are even living off that are spending like 100% of their income every month, and that's where you find yourself living kind of that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. You have to figure out how to start cutting down expenses, how to lower that percentage down a bit. And I know when it comes to that, like not everyone has the same situation in life. People are living off a certain amount because of certain different reasons. And what I would suggest is, if at all possible, if you're not already stretching, overworking yourself, try and figure out ways to increase your income versus decrease your debt. Yeah. So sorry. So with that, what I mean by that is, if there's any way where if you know what, I'm not gonna go into specifics of this because I'm actually gonna make a second video where I address this, but what I will say for this is just figure out a way to increase your income. You figure out if you can do any sort of side hustles or just something that'll start earning you extra money if you realistically can't cut back on costs. So yeah, kind of just came up with an idea for my next video is I will put together some ways for you to, I guess, make more money, to start helping you out and start being able to start saving money as well. All right, so step 4 is, once you've either taken the route of either decreasing your expenses or increasing your income, now you need to set a plan for saving with the excess money that you have. I know before I said that you generally want to keep your debt to income, at least like you want to be living off or spending at least 40 to 60% of your income. So put a plan in place for the remainder amount. For the sake of this video, I'm just gonna go right in the middle and say 50%. So your living expenses or any other like bills, things like that, are being spent on 50% of your income. So that leaves us with the extra 50%. So of that remaining 50%, you want to put 25% away and put that in a savings account towards saving for a house. Now, for me, I do use 3 separate bank accounts just because I do need to, mentally I need that separation. So if that's something you need to do, like have a checking account for where you're paying your bills, then have a saving account that's specific for saving for a house, and then I have a third savings account, or I guess second saving, my third account in general is my second savings account, and that's for just living, what's it called, like an emergency fund. So if like your car breaks down, floods, I live in Florida, there's hurricanes, so yeah, split your finances, long story short, and have a account specifically for house savings and then an account for regular savings. The remaining 25% is, you can split that in half again if you want to, or you can put the full amount in there just based off your needs, but this is my emergency savings fund. So for me personally, I do split it in half, and I'm putting that remaining like 12.5%, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes even 10%. I'm putting that towards saving for emergencies. So, and then now I'm down to my last 12.5%. So this you don't need to do. Again, every person has their particular lifestyle and the things that they're into. For me, I do like to tithe. That's just something I believe in. So I'll take that 10% and I'll tithe either to like my local church or something I see online that kind of like tugs at my heart a little bit. So anything like feed the hungry, something like that, that's where I'll allocate that 10% to, which leaves me that 2.5%, and is my fun money. So that's really what you should be spending on entertainment and eating out, things of that sort. You do not need to be spending 60% of your paychecks on that. But that's how I choose to do it. Again, you can use the entire 12.5% towards whatever you want to put it to, but yeah, that's just kind of what works for me. This is a plan I recently put out together just based off like what's something that's maintainable for me, and this is something I saw that works. So this is something, I'm still in the new phases of this, but I feel like this is realistic. It'll get you to a place where you can actually start saving money and realistically reach your goal within 6 months to a year. Or if you don't have, if you can't save as much, maybe even 2 years. It's a very realistic plan. You just need to stick to it. That's pretty much it, guys. So this was just my little process I'm working on, just tips I feel like should be helpful for you guys if you want to start saving for a house. I hope this was helpful. As always as well, make sure, you know, go online, do your research, figure out what works for you. Again, this was specific to my goals and what I think would be realistic for those who are trying to save for a house. If you have other goals or you're saving for something smaller as well, kind of look into that and figure out what you need to do. But yeah, stay tuned for the next one. There is going to be a part 2. I had a section of this video, my step 3 actually, which was setting a budget, that was just way too long. So instead of boring you guys for an hour and a half, I'm just going to make that the next part of this video. So stay tuned for that. It will be uploaded in a couple days. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.